We are here to help our customers make real financial progress. And the way to meet those needs is through hyper-connection and hyper-personalization. And it's what customers expect from us today. They expect us to know us. We have all of this information about them. They want to ensure that they have a consistent interaction with us every day. And that is how the hyper-connection works for us. You don't want to give them one offer somewhere else and deny them somewhere here because your systems are not connected. The expectation is it is fully understood, and that is how we're interacting with them. Using the data that the platform enables us from so many different sources, a full 360-degree view of that customer really enables us also to make great decisions for them. Where you may require additional documentation, a customer I know deeply, I shouldn't have to. So now that we have these amazing tools, the teams are able to lean in, again, collaborating with FICO to best understand how can we maximize some of our processes. I'm going to give an example here, and it's one I have shared before, but I do think it's critical in the cornerstone, and it shows how technology, but also partnership on design, really comes together to fortify a framework. And for us, it was around how do we create our strategies? How do the strategy trees work? Where do you use segments? Where do you use scoring? That level of detail, if you can start to really productionalize it, has allowed us to have faster approvals, more transparency, and frankly, in changing environments, more confidence because we've all have a very strong understanding of the components. It's really been a game changer for us. There's two components of the decision management platform that have been very enabling for downturn readiness. One of them is around the modular design. So where you want to be able to have strategies that are fairly consistent, you really don't have to recode, redo. It's very simple. So as we're changing a strategy, we can ensure that even in our downturn readiness, we've got more of a lookalike. And then when it gets a little bit more detailed is around parameter-based changes, because you have to be able in a downturn to get in and out fast. You want to be able to have pre-designed, pre-understood, pre-agreed changes that you're going to be able to make. We actually had our platform come in at the time that the pandemic started in 2020. And so we were able to make these changes. We've proven it, we've seen it, and as we go forward now, we bring that confidence.
I want to create a factory for strategies, and that's our goal. And so we're starting with the credit sector into first-party fraud, and we'll move into other parts of fraud, product, pricing, marketing. And so it's this platform that enables us to create the factory. That factory helps us lower cost of ownership, move faster to market. So it's really great.
And so whether it's FICO's flexibility and composability, or the scalability of the platform and the power of the integrated AI and ML. And we also see FICO continuing to evolve the platform, not only to meet our expectations and keep pace with our expectations, but also to outpace our expectations and be ahead of us. And so it's been a really good choice and a good fit for our needs. So the composability that you talk about has actually been really useful in terms of bringing the right capabilities to bear where we need them in the end-to-end customer and also colleague journey. From a fraud standpoint, we launched in 2024 to cover various types of fraud, including digital fraud, digital transaction fraud, so bill pay, electronic funds transfer. And we're still on the journey to deepen our coverage, and we have a lot of plans for the future. So our speed to decision has improved by 33%.
Wow.
And we attribute that to getting better routing and getting the deals to the right underwriters and reducing the number of touch points and just creating that frictionless journey, again, not just for customers, but also for our colleagues. Interestingly, just a quick anecdote, I was in a meeting last week and we were talking about some new models that we were going to build, and the product management team said, we should put this in the FICO platform because then we can use fraud data. And I thought, it's a little scary as a technologist to have
music to my ears.
The business partners starting to dictate exactly what platforms we're using, but it's also wonderful because people are starting to connect the dots and they're starting to see the value, so I'll take it as a win.
2017, I think we were operating efficiently in silos, but operating efficiently locally doesn't mean that we are globally efficient, right? And there were several interfaces. Somebody would conceive the credit policy, would hand over to somebody to provide the rules, and somebody will implement it and test. And the reality, it was taking us 90 to 120 days end-to-end to conceive a policy and deploy it. And if, for example, if I take into consideration pre-approved lines, it would mean that every customer that opened an account in 3 months would not have an offer. So we decided to have an architecture that would allow us to tackle our short-term challenges, but with the proper capability to scaling it up to different line of business and different workloads. So we started with a very, very specific product with a simple ambitions. 120 days need to become a single day at the right time. And then it was fairly trivial for us to incorporate new line of business, because any past and previous effort that we had to bring the data and to build the services could be reused to different decisioning that we would come up.
During these last 10 years, I've seen a lot of evolution, a lot of growth. And I think one of the key components of that growth is when we made the decision to go to the FICO platform. Right. And we did it methodically. We started with our priority regions. We started with Canada, made our way down Mexico, Chile, and Peru. And we also started just with the decisioning capabilities of the platform, but then we've expanded to the customer communication services for fraud and collections. And it's been a great journey. Just a few months after we launched the platform in Canada, we were able to leverage the platform to seek new data sources that enabled us to penetrate the auto segment. And this is something that we're very proud of, because we dominate the auto lending segment in Canada already. And then in Mexico, you know, one of the key pillars of our strategy is to make it easier for our customers to do business with us. And I'm very proud of the work that we're seeing in Mexico. So we are simplifying the onboarding and servicing experiencing end-to-end. And you know, yesterday you guys talked about how you want to see consistency across channels. We're very ambitious. We're actually going beyond consistency in channels and consistency across geographies. And we're just getting started with that.
When I joined, the bulk of the conversations were about infrastructure. And if I had a conversation with our chief product owner, who you saw on screen, to be frank, I often had to disappoint him to say, look, we've got to do this program to update our servers or our software, et cetera. The need to do that in terms of choosing FICO Platform has gone away. You guys are doing that because that is what you do brilliantly, in addition to obviously providing all the capability and functionality. What we want to do as a bank and a building society is to focus on our customers and on our propositions and such like. So it's taken that away. If we wanted to update a scorecard or a decision tree, that was an IT-driven process. It's now a business-driven process. It's 50% quicker than it used to be.
And we do often see trends that are happening in the market. The bad actors will do something very similar to our US business versus our Canadian business. And the beauty of that is that we're sitting on the same platform. We can easily address both sides of this threats. It's just deploy on both sides in parallel. And I think we're going to be seeing more and more the reusability. I think Jen Weber yesterday at the opening was talking about the fact that we also have a credit profile now sitting on top of FICO, and we're going to see more synergy about leveraging credit decisions and fraud decisions on the same profile, and that allows us to reduce the friction, at the same time address risk where we're seeing the synergy between both sides.